Hi, welcome to Rooted Hearts Homestead. My name's Kim, and this is our life. Hey guys, I'm going to talk to you about two things today. First is going to be bone broth, but I just want to warn you, my house is lived in, and it's a beautiful mess. But I'm not going to lie about the fact that we live here. So as I'm moving around my kitchen and showing you things, my kitchen is lived in. I do not get every single dish done, every single meal, and we've been running all day, but I just wanted to take you along while I make the bone broth since I'm doing that anyway. And I also want to talk to you about the adoption we're doing and where we're at with that. So enjoy this. Good afternoon and welcome to my kitchen. First, let's talk bone broth. So, how do I make my bone broth? Well, today I pulled out a chicken out of the freezer. I just picked it and put it back in my Instapot. All the juices that are left over from cooking are in the pot already, and I added to it celery and some carrots. Now, for this particular one, I have not done anything specific to say this is for bone broth yet. That is just regular broth. For it to actually be bone broth, you have to add apple cider vinegar. That way, it helps break down the bones. Now, I'm doing it in an Instapot, so could I skip that? Possibly. But why would I? Why would I skip it? Why wouldn't I just go ahead, add in the vinegar, and make sure that I'm getting everything that I need? So, now that I grabbed the last couple of spices I need from my cupboard, let me show you the last few things I'm going to do. So, I added the carrot and celery. I would normally add onion and garlic to this, but I cooked the chicken in kind of like a jerk chicken seasoning, and so I don't want to add anything else other than a splash of apple cider vinegar, a literal splash of apple cider vinegar. That just helps break down the bones and make sure that I get all the nutrients that I need. I then go ahead and add some peppercorns, because I always add peppercorns to it. Some salt. Right now we are using ground Himalayan pink salt from Costco. I've thought about using some other types like Redmond's or whatever, but this is what we have access to right now, so this is what we're using. And I literally just stick my hand in the thing and sprinkle salt in there. I will be adding 12 cups of water to this, which will make it so I have at least 3 jars of broth left over. Now, what am I going to do with this broth once I'm done? Well, I could can it in my pressure canner. Don't need to, though. I actually stick it in my fridge, and I leave broth in my fridge because I drink it in the morning. Sometimes I'll add something to it, but usually it's just straight from the pot, and then I warm it up. I do not warm it in the microwave. I am not a microwave person. We have gotten away from that in our family. I just feel like I'm zapping all the nutrients out of my food. So I'll either heat it on the stovetop, or I have a Breville milk frother that heats, and sometimes I'll pop it in there to just not have to watch it overflow on the stovetop. But usually I put it on the stovetop and usually it overflows a little bit because it bubbles over. It's fine. The second way that I use it is I make ramen with it, or soup. Lunch, in breakfast, unless I'm purposefully making something, are just not my meals, and I'll do something really quick. Like I said, the bone broth works well for me for something quick, and it's just the nutrients that I need to get going either in the morning or if something quick pick me up over lunchtime. Other ways I use bone broth is just like in my basic cooking and anything that we are using that would call for broth. Just stick the bone broth in there. Key things to making good bone broth: don't forget the salt. If you forget the salt, it's all over with. It's disgusting. It really is. Use good chicken. And then the other thing is, make sure you're adding things that you like the flavors of. To be able to just sit and drink bone broth is not for everyone. But I've learned what flavors I like and what to add to my broth to make it taste good. Now that I've added the 12 cups of water to my bone broth, I'm going to put the lid on, make sure that I have it on seal, and start it for 90 minutes. I know, it's a long time, but it makes really good broth. I've never had an issue with it. I just love the flavor coming out of it. Now, could you do this on the stovetop or in the crock pot? Yeah, totally. When I do it on the stovetop, I get the biggest pot that I have. The biggest. I don't want to use something small. I want to use something gargantuan because I'm going to be making a lot. I stick in all the bones that I have. Sometimes I put bones in the freezer if I just don't have time to make broth with them right away. And so I'll put in all the bones that I have and I'll make up a big batch of bone broth. Usually when I'm doing it on the stovetop, I will go ahead and pressure can my bone broth, but when I'm doing it in the Instapot, I don't bother because it's such a small batch. You can do smaller batches on the stove. Again, you just add in the same ingredients. This was a couple of carrots, a couple of celery sticks, a few peppercorns, a pinch of salt, a splash of vinegar, and then of course the bones that I'm using. We've made several types of broth: pork, deer, chicken, beef, lobster, just whatever we had on hand and were blessed with, we make it. So that's basically it. After this goes for 90 minutes, I'm going to let it sit overnight and cool off and just depressurize itself. I don't have to worry about it. It will still be warm in the morning. And in the morning, I will use a strainer and strain it into jars, just like this one. I have quite the store of jars, and I have reusable lids. I have some plastic reusable lids and some metal reusable lids that I love for when I'm storing stuff in the fridge. Just makes it really easy. But yeah, but that's about it. It doesn't take much. Like I said, you can do it on the stovetop. I just simmer overnight when I do it on the stovetop, and if I do it in my crock pot, I put it on high until everything's boiling, and then turn it to low and let it go for about 12 hours. I want to get every single bit of nutrient that I can out of those bones, and sometimes that takes time. So that's why I said I like using the Instapot. I still let it go overnight. I wouldn't necessarily have to, but I just find I get the best flavor with that. So I hope this helps you understand how we make the bone broth and also how I use it. If you have any questions, leave them below. For the second part of this video, let's talk about the adoption that we're doing. I was going to film this inside so it wouldn't be so windy, but it's noisy inside because I have 5 children at home and they are busy playing airplane. I'm not really sure why it's noisy while they're playing airplane, but it is. So I'm going to come sit out on my deck out here. Gorgeous, gorgeous fall day. I absolutely love this tree over here. Just so orange. Whew. This week is gorgeous. Thankfully, we do not have any snow, so I will hopefully still get in my last mowing that I need to do before snow sets in. But let's talk adoption. I had told you guys that we were just starting an adoption a couple months ago, and we're moving forward. It's a direct placement adoption. So what that means is that the mom and I are friends, and she has chosen us directly to adopt her child. It's really cool. It's a really cool situation, every single moment is not really cool, but that's the way it is with any adoption. I feel like every adoption story has its frustrations and its negatives. This one is our adoption story. I'll share with you the full story later on, after everything's done, but for right now, I just wanted to tell you where we're at in the process. So you start by hiring a lawyer. The lawyer files the paperwork with the county and everything. You have to go see a judge. It's a whole thing. But we have officially, I hope by now, gotten all of the paperwork that the lawyer needs to them. We're just waiting for them to get all that filed and waiting on then the court system to get things moving. Now, it can take time, but we are really hopeful and praying that it won't. I have to say that none of this would have been possible without our friends. Everyone has just really stepped up and helped us get there. If you follow me on Instagram, you know just how blessed we are and how much God has just blessed that. And I've been praying that if we are supposed to add this 5th child to our family, that it's completely His will. I do not want to do something that's not God's will. And it's just time after time when I'm going, okay, God, I'm questioning this. Is this what you want us to do? Is this what we're supposed to be doing? I just get a resounding yes by things that happen in the next 24 hours. Even little things that don't relate to the adoption, but are still impacting us, and just God blessing the little things that we're doing. So we're just going to keep trying to follow His will, but I wanted to give you all an update on where we were. We have moved past the it's going to happen to it's happening, and hopefully in the next couple months we'll have it happened and be done with it. But I hope you enjoyed today learning about bone broth and just what I use it for and how I make it. Like I said, the Instapot is my favorite way to make it. So if you don't have an Instapot, don't worry. You can make it other ways, just my personal favorite. And then also about our adoption, and we are so excited to add this little one to our family. You may not see many pictures of her or of her face, or she may not be on here much, but we're just trying to be careful and respect her privacy while she is not yet fully ours. And so hopefully in the next couple months, I'll be able to fully introduce her to you, and you guys will get to meet her. I'm so excited for that. Thanks for coming along this week, and I hope to see you next week.